Ladies and gentlemen, let's go over how Gruul Prowess just got a little bit scarier because of this card. What's going on, fellow tryhards? It's Tom with Tricard Games, bringing you back a brand new deck profile. One for Magic this time. So, this deck profile is one that I have been kind of cooking with for Standard. I've seen a lot of people play the deck, and a little disclaimer before I get into it, there are some cards that I do not have, and for now I'm doing I guess a more budget version of this, because there are some cards that I'm missing. For example, Emberheart Challenger is one. That is a really good haste prowess creature, but this deck is going to be Gruul Prowess. This is probably one of my favorite aggro decks of the year, or for this format. I'm a big aggro fan. I like just go, especially we're coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background. Having a fast deck and like a smooth brain deck every once in a while kind of helps. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, again, I want to preface that there are two creatures that I do not have, and there's a spell that I'm not running from Bloombro that would be in replacement for it, but I'm still trying to find the card. So, the cards that I'll be proxying in that would be something different is Might of the Meek, I think is what it's called, or it's the one that gives a mouse +1/+0 and haste, I think, and you draw a card, and it's for 1 red. I've got Thrill of Possibility in here. I know a lot of people just went, ugh, bad card, yeah. Just in there for testing right now, and plus this is a little bit more of a budget build, so it makes it a little bit easier. I think this clocks in, and I think regular Gruul Prowess is like 150, maybe a little bit more. This one comes in right at like 120, I think, maybe even a little bit less than that. But while you're here, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for sticking around. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. We have the creatures. I run 4 Monastery Swift Spears, the old Swifties. These are probably one of my favorites. 1-drop reds in the game, probably one of the best. It's literally got 2 words on it. It's haste and prowess, and that is really strong in this deck. So being able to just kind of pop off, and a lot of this stuff is also standard to the Gruul Prowess deck, because for those who don't know, Prowess is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, that creature gets +1/+. This creature gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. So more buffs on your buff spells. So if you cast something like Monstrous Rage, or Turn Inside Out from the new set, this card just pops off crazy, especially with the Leyline. And that also something to note is whenever you cast a spell on Leyline, the copies do not cast towards the Prowess, but it does still give an extra buff spell to that creature that you want to target, or if you want to target a different one. Next playset that we have is probably one of the funniest of my favorite cards in this, and that is 4 Cacophony Scamp. I haven't seen a whole lot of people running this. I've been running this in Arena, been doing a little bit of testing there. But for those who don't know, this is a 1 red, 1/1. Whenever it dies, you can proliferate. Whenever it deals combat damage, you can sack it. And if you do proliferate, and whenever it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So I know a lot of you have seen this card floating around on YouTube Shorts and maybe a couple other videos. This card is the other half of a 2-turn kill. This is the main card that pretty much a 2-turn kill, because you can buff this thing up. If you have Leyline, all your buff spells double up, get in for 11 with Turn Inside Out, Monstrous Rage on this. So you pretty much have 2 copies of Monstrous Rage and 2 copies of Turn Inside Out. And if they don't die, you have 22 damage to the face, and you have the 2 Manifest Dreads that you get from the 2 copies of Inside Out on this card. So probably one of your better 1-card starters. If you don't see a Leyline, I prefer to see Monastery Swift Spear in the hand rather than this. But this is still a solid turn 1 play if you have another buff spell or something, because you can swing in. Maybe they want to do an early trade, and then you buff it, and then you can just ping for 4. That's the whole thing with red, is like you're just trying to gun for face really quickly. So I really enjoy this. this card. So, and I might actually try to play this during Modern night sometime. It might not be the best, but I'd like to try it out and see how well it works. And of course, right now in Standard, probably one of your best red creatures in Standard, and that is your 4 Slick Shot Show-Offs. Now, this card has, it's not quite Prowess, but I'd say it's almost better Prowess for any sort of red deck. So, this card has Flying and Haste as a 1/2 for 2. You can plot it, which means you can exile it and play it on a later turn. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, sounds like Prowess, it gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. So, you can buff this thing up really, really quickly with a lot of your spells. Getting that extra +2 instead of a +2/+0 instead of a +1/+1 can be a really, really strong ability, and just be able to make this thing a game winner on the spot. I know there have been several games where I will plot a Slick Shot and have a Leyline out, and then turn 3 they won't have any blockers up, or they'll do something else with their mana, and I'll just play this, swing. They won't declare any blockers, they're all tapped out, and I'll just be able to pump this up two or three times and be able to swing for game in a single turn, because they'll usually like fetch or do something else, or not fetch, but they'll use some other abilities that'll cost a little bit of life. So the last red creatures, I think this is the last creature that I have in this right now, because there are a couple cards that I will take out, but I'm trying out Screaming Nemesis in the main board, simply because there is a little combo that I figured out with this card. It's not really a combo, but it's like a card mix that can really change the game. It's a new Duskmourn card, for those who don't know, that lets you, whenever it is dealt damage, it deals that much to any other target. If it was a player dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. So I found something out with this this could be played in Modern. This card's really strong. It being a 3/3 with haste. One of the things that I've figured out is playing on Arena. One of the things that you can do is, if you have the Leyline, if you have the Leyline of Resonance out on the field, you can use your shocks to pop this for 2. Post-combat main phase, if you will. You can swing in for 3 with this, go to post-combat main phase, shock this for 2. Your Leyline will copy this because you are targeting a single copy of a card. So you're going to be able to get the 2 damage off of the Nemesis trigger, and you're also going to get a copy of the shock to ping your opponent for face. So you're not missing out on any damage. You're actually doing 2 extra for one mana. So you're doing 4 damage for 1 mana. And I thought about running this at 4. I ordered my other 2 today. I love this card. It's such a cool artwork, and probably one of my favorite cards out of the Duskmourn set. And of course, the 4 shocks that I mentioned earlier. These, I'm using some old art ones, and I know they don't match. I'll probably get flamed on that in the comments, but that's okay. Shock, just a deal 2 to any, and again, it goes really well with the Screaming Nemesis. Just being able to copy this, ping this, and deal 4 with just 1 Leyline on the field. If you have multiple Leylines, which if you have multiple in your opening hand, and you have a shock and this, you just ping this and you get 6 damage instead of 4. So it's again really good for that. And now we get into your cantrips, or battle tricks is what I call them. 4 turn inside out. This card is phenomenal. Being able to manifest Dread really makes this strong. This is good. I feel like this card would be good in Modern. One of the things that I've been doing with Modern with this is doing the whole Cacophony Scamp thing as well, buffing it up, and then whenever Cacophony Scamp dies, I'll sack it and deal damage. And if they still live, then you manifest Dread. If you're playing Boros aggro in Modern, you're able to, if you hit Flage off the top, then you're able to manifest Dredge your Flage, and then if you have enough mana, you can flip it and he stays on the field. So also, if you flip it that way, it'll be, like I said, it'll dodge the escape trigger, so you won't have to worry about that, because it's not technically entering the field whenever you manifest Dread. Next battle trick I like to use is an old one, but a good one. Giant Growth. +3/+3 for 1 green. I think is just Really solid. This could be a couple other things. Again, this could have been Snakeskin Veil. I do run another card that that covers the indestructible hexproof part of it, but I've got it in the sideboard right now, and that is I think it's, find it here. I think it's called Horrid. It's from the new. There it is. Horrid Vigor. That's from the. It's from the new set from Duskmourn. It is a common. Target creature gains death, touch, and indestructible. So not hexproof, but it gains indestructible. So really strong card for that one as well. Right now, I'll probably change some stuff again. So I'm only running 3 Monstrous Rage. I will probably bump this up to 4. This card is just too good. Giving something trample, especially with Cacophony Scamp. If they have a blocker with your Cacophony Scamp and you hit it with this, it gives it trample, because again it gains the monster roll, which gives it +1/+1 and trample. Really, really strong card. Again, I can't stress this enough. This is probably one of the best. There's a reason why this card's like $4 or $5 right now. It's a really strong cantrip or battle trick. And again, the one card that I would probably switch to. I think it's called Might of the Meek. Gives it +1/+0 to a mouse. This is discard a card, draw 2 cards. It's kind of like Faithless Looting, just not as good. It costs 1 more. So this is not quite exactly is going to be the same as what my end build is going to be, but this is a really cool build nonetheless. I think this card will be okay right now. Again, where this is a more budget-friendly list. Now let's get on to the piece de resistance of the deck, and that is Leyline of Resonance. Yes, I do run 4 of these. This card is absolutely okay at 4, because you do want to see it in your hand. It's not a great draw, but you don't mind it at times. It just kind of sits in your hand, and where I run 4 of this, it kind of makes the discard off of Thrill Possibility a little bit easier for me, so I don't have to worry about, you know, discarding one and having another, or having a couple on the field. So this card from Duskmourn, this is probably the most busted Leyline out of the rotation. It's got, like all the other Leylines in the game, they have that pre-game action to where you free cast this and have it on the field. And then whenever you cast a instant or sorcery spell that only targets a single creature you control, copy that spell, choose new targets. So again, this is where you can target your Screaming Nemesis for 2, shock it, then copy that spell, target your opponent's face, burn for 4 in total because of the Screaming Nemesis trigger, or if you have multiples of these, they also trigger, so you get 2 extra damage for each one, or you just be able to like peel apart a board. This card's crazy. This card just being able to copy a lot of your spells and a lot of your quick fixes for battle tricks is just insane. The other card that I have right now in here is these are the other enchantments, is 2 Innkeeper Talent. So for those who don't know, this card at the beginning of your combat, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Pay 1 green, permanents you control permanents you control with counters on them have ward 1. And then you can pay 4. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those counters on that permanent or player instead. Card's really good. Just being able to buff up your Monastery Swift Spears, being able to buff up your Cacophony Scamps, and just keeping permanent +1/+1 counters on it as big blockers if you are in like a mirror match. This card is handy to have. And then, of course, you gotta have it, especially if you're running a red deck right now. Urbrask's Forge is a staple. Urbrask's Forge is just one of the coolest artifacts in the game right now. At the beginning of your combat, put an oil counter on this, and then create an X1 Phyrexian horror creature token onto the battlefield, and then sack it. So, just being able to have a constant body on the field that swings, you can buff that up to. Something that you can do is, with Turn Inside Out, you get a bunch of oil counters on this. You can just keep swinging. Also, if you have this and your Innkeeper's Talents on if you have your Innkeeper's Talent on the field, these double up the oil counters. So you're able to get bigger creatures faster with the oil counters and just keep bringing out these little X1 guys. And where they're going to die, Inside Out is perfect for this card, because whenever you get that little token on the field, you can buff it up. When it dies, you manifest Dredge. So you get to manifest Dredge however many times if you have a Leylines, or if you have a single Leyline. It just makes it that much stronger, and it's really oppressive. And last but not least, the easiest part of it, the land base we run a lot of mountains. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We run 10 mountains, 2 rock face villages, which is the you can only spend it on you can tap it for a colorless or tap it for a red for if you're spending it on a creature, and then you can pay a red, tap it, target lizard, mouse, otter, or raccoon you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste until the end of the turn. This is really good if you run Heartfire Hero, which I do plan on putting into this deck at a later date. Emberheart Challenger already has haste. I just really, I think this card's just good right now in Standard. This one's kind of a weird one. I've only got one Copperline Gorge, so I just threw it in there as the, I think it's the 21st land. Something like that. It's either the 20th or the 21st land. I don't run many lands in this deck. But yeah, one Copperline Gorge. The new land from the new dual lands from the Duskmourn set. I think these are going to be. I think these are an awesome standard dual land. I think these are probably one of the better ones right now. Just being able to control a mountain or a forest makes Gruul Prowess way easier to do because they run a lot of mountains anyway. So I think these are outstanding to play with right now. And then the last 4 are your Karplusan Forests, or Karplusan Forests. So that is the land base. That is, let's see, I want to say, actually that's 19 lands. So, oh, excuse me, no, 21 lands. So I've got the Copperline Gorge is the last one. And for those curious enough, here is the side deck, which is not really completed at the moment, but again, it could be a little bit better. It's just something I'm working on right now. This is your Death Touch Indestructible card, Horrid Vigor. I love this card. Your Graveyard Hate card, which I think Ghost Vacuum is going to be a lot stronger than what people think it's going to be. Ghost Vacuum is just being able to suck up a card out of the graveyard is extremely strong. I think there's a deck floating around that's a scam deck that's going to be able to get some big creatures out really quickly. So I think this card's going to be good. Whether it's going to stay at 4, probably not. But I think this is a really fun card to play around with. One Koth, Fire of Resistance. I just wanted to try them out. I've seen some people run them at 1 in the sideboard. I don't know how well it is. Just that +2, being able to search your library for a mountain and add it to your hand, and then shuffle. It's pretty good. Being able to search your library for a land if you get low. Which, if you're at 4 land anyway, you're not really hurting. So he might actually come out. I'm running the other 2 Innkeeper's Talents and the other 2 Urbrask's Forge. And then, just in case, I run 4 Gleeful Demolition. So this is not quite what you think it's for. I think it's personally for being able to hit your own Urbrask's Forge whenever it gets to that time, and creating 3 more 1/1s and just going wide. Being able to go a little bit wider on the field is kind of good. It's kind of powerful at times whenever you're an aggro deck, because sometimes there's one big body and you can't really get around it, and you just kind of waste a lot of resources. But fellow tryhards, that is the deck profile for the Gruul Prowess aggro deck. Let me know what you guys think down below. If there's any questions or any comments that you have about the build, please leave them down in the comments below. I am more than open to any sort of recommendations for this build. There are a lot of cards. There's a lot of cards in Magic. There's way more cards in Magic than there is in Yu-Gi-Oh! So feel free to give me some insight on this list. I will try to be playing this and try to be doing some local with this deck here in the near future, and I really hope that you enjoyed. But guys, thanks. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. My name's Tom with Tracker Games. We'll see you next time. See you guys.